just a pleasure. So, Laurie, please tell us your story.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. So back in 2014, I was teaching high school at that point. So not little souls, but older souls. Still little, but they think they're old, big at that point. And spring break is a time when teachers often get sick because we get quiet and we let go and boom, right? So I was at a concert actually, and not halftime. What do you call it? See, it's part of what happens to me. It was intermission at the concert. Yes. And I felt really weird, I went to the washroom and I thought I was going to pass out, and I just, no. So I went home and I came down with what I thought was the flu. And it just got worse and worse and worse, and no one could figure out what it was. And I went to the doctor and they sent me to specialists, and it was all the better part of 6 to 9 months.
Wow, that's a long time to not feel well.
Yeah, and correct.
It must have been worrisome.
Yeah. It was, because we didn't know what it was, right? Yeah. So crawling around my house, on my hands and knees, literally, because I couldn't walk. My joints were so sore. I walked up the stairs like a little one did, on hands and knees, went down on my bum because I couldn't stand very well. It was awful, sleeping 16 hours a day. And then it hit the brain. Well, first of all, they figured out what it was. I went to the States and lo and behold, my instinct was that it was Lyme, because by then I was doing research and I was right. So they started to treat it, but because it had taken so long to figure it out, it colonized beautifully and it loved my brain. We joked there was a lot to eat up there. It's like bacteria that just exactly.
Good thing you had a big brain.
So when it hit the brain, seizure activity started to happen, and my hands didn't work. I would pick up a spoon and it would fall. I remember picking up a grape one day and I couldn't hold it. Christopher, my son, said I ate like an old person because I was shaking all the time. And I thought, okay, this is not happening. The person who used to teach little souls and never stopped, part of the problem, we'll get to that, is now forced to stop and very uncomfortable. And now my body's falling apart. What is happening, right? Yeah. So then every day after my son went to school, I would pick up a pen and I would draw circles like this, like a little one would, holding the pen like this, because I didn't have a grip at that point. Right. Over and over and over again, until the circles became, if you give me permission to share, I will show you.
Yes, please do, because your artwork is just phenomenal. What led you to think to do circles? Was it just something that you felt compelled that you just had to be in motion, you had to do something?
So I put yoga music on because that was what was familiar to me. That was, I had been doing yoga for years. That was what was calming. My brain remembered it. Circles were easy. And when I taught really little souls, before you taught them to write, you taught them circles, because that's the easiest shape, right?
True.
And it's calming. And I don't know, intuitively, you're right. Intuitively, it just spoke to me.
Okay.
So I'm not able to share. That's okay. The settings are not letting me do it. So I will text you a picture and maybe you can share while I keep talking.
Send it through Messenger, perhaps, instead of.
Okay, I will do that. I will do that while I talk. So there she is. Send. As I say, you gotta love computers. Circles and circles and circles turned into, I have no idea how this happened, Sherry. And I look at these drawings and I think, I didn't do these. I don't know who. I would draw and I would think, who did this? It was crazy. And it became my art. And Rumi spoke to me while I, not literally, but his quotes resonated with me while I was doing yoga. So I started to merge the drawings with Rumi quotes. And I have over 160 of them now.
Wow.
It's crazy. Over 160 drawings. Yeah.
Hang on there. I'm attempting to share now.
There you go.
Can you see
there
it?
You go. Yeah. Yes, I can. Okay, so that's one of the later ones that I did, and it really spoke to me. The quote really spoke to me.
Now watch my rising. And that's exactly what you've done. You have so risen.
And so many of us do, right? We fall down and we find ways to rise. But I think the magic for me, to be very fair,
Okay, what's happening now?
Just unshare at the bottom of your
I
screen.
can't even get there anymore. Hang on. Oh dear. Oh
That's okay.
dear.
It's okay. Hit escape. Hit escape
Yeah,
sharing.
I've been trying that.
Okay,
Maybe
and
if I
then
go bigger. No, now I can't even see me. Now I can't see
if
you.
you see the window for Zoom somewhere.
Yeah, it's just got this little color bar on it though. Why is that? Meeting controls.
Yeah, because you're sharing. That's okay. That's okay. So at the bottom of your screen, do you see any of the Zoom icons?
Okay, let's see here. Okay, here we go. So,
and you'll see stop share somewhere. Maybe it's at the top.
there. Okay.
There
Holy
we go.
moly. Yay. This is what happens when you're on the heels of almost 60 in technology. It's like,
No,
what?
no. You did it. You did it. That was
Thank you,
great.
sweetie.
That was great.
Sorry to interrupt your story because
no problem. No, it's okay. So what I realized was I let go of the way my life used to be. And I was, as I say, I was forced to stop. So I was on output for so many years, right? I taught in town. I lived on the West Island. I was a single mom. My son was a swimmer. And being busy and being tired was a commodity, right? It was something that we were taught was a badge of honor. How are you? I'm exhausted. How are you? You know, I've had such a busy day. How are you? Oh my God, I never stop. Somehow
So
that was a goal that I somehow unconsciously wanted to reach.
Yeah.
And so when I was forced to stop, my definition of worthiness was based on my output and how I helped people, right? And what I was doing and how I was giving and how I was focusing on not me
and doing
was my definition
giving,
for others, right?
Yeah.
Was my definition of worthiness, because I was worthy of love and belonging if I could prove that I was worthy of love and belonging. So when I had to stop and the drawing started, at first it was really uncomfortable. I thought, okay, what, you know, I'm not teaching anymore. I'm not the same mom I was anymore. I'm not giving, I'm not doing, I'm worthless. And the negative self-talk, the narratives that ran, I won't even begin to tell you, they were terrible.
Crazy
but
what we tell ourselves, eh? What
crazy.
is that? Because we wouldn't talk to a friend like that. So why the hell do we talk to ourselves like that?
And friends would tell me, you know, that's not true, Laurie. I said, but it is. Like, I'm not teaching. Like, I'm not, you guys are all working, I would say, which was true. You know, I'm not teaching. I'm not worth anything. And I would say to Christopher, I'm so sorry, I'm not the mom I was. And of course he would say, Mom, you're still you. It's okay. And the drawing spoke to me. You know, it's as if I drew them first for myself. It's as if I drew them to look at them and realize, you know, we are worth more than what we do. Because the drawings were for me at the beginning. I didn't show them to anybody. I thought that was showing off to show
don't toot your horn,
my creativity, right? Isn't it funny? Give to others, but don't
be conceited. Don't talk about yourself. Don't. Yeah, it's crazy.
And so, but I sat in the quiet and I thought, how many people, how many women have been hit by a storm of life, whether it is an illness or a death, or my mom had Alzheimer's at the time, or, you know, elderly parents, or in this case, COVID, where everything is different, right? A storm of life to me is when your life is out of your control and you can, which really it never is.
Yeah, it's never in our control. That's an illusion.
We think it is, right? But it's
like
different than we recognize. And to me, that's a storm of life where we feel helpless. We feel out of control. And so what was I saying? See, that's what happens to me. I lose my train of thought.
That you were doing the drawings initially for yourself and for your own healing.
Right.
And you were afraid.
So I realized
you were reticent to try and, you know, to share it because people might.
But I realized there must be lots of women who are sitting at home living various life storms, as I call them, without a way out. And I thought, maybe I'm doing this partly because I should be sharing what's working. Because as I drew, my hands came back to me. As I drew, my center arrived. As I drew, the channel to Laurie, I used to say at the beginning, was fuzzy. I couldn't access her. You know that feeling when you're little? I can picture myself sitting in a field of milkweed pods.
Mm.
Remember
I used to
those in the
love those. I used to like
summertime?
take it apart and that silk inside. So
Right, and they looked like
silken.
fish, right? So I would
Yeah.
make little fake fish dinners in the field, and that feeling of grounded um, sense of yourself when you're little, I had lost. Not that I had given myself away, but I had been on output for so long, I
Right.
couldn't connect to Laurie anymore.
It's almost
And
like
I
the
missed
tether
her.
is missing, eh? The tethering
Right.
back
Oh, I was
to our
completely
essence.
untethered. Right.
Wow.
And to ground and to spirit and to all of that. And I missed her. You know,
I
Laurie was
bet.
pretty cool to hang around with. I liked her. And so as I drew, the channel to Laurie became less fuzzy. And she came back and I thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing. My body is humming, it's happy,
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
grounded, it's in flow, right? That's what we talk about, is
That's
being in flow.
yeah.
And the
How,
field, I did a lot of reading after that about what flow does to our bodies. And it's amazing for our immune system. It's amazing for our brains. It helps to buffer us from Alzheimer's, believe it or not. The more you get into flow, yeah, it's
well, probably
really
because you're
good
firing
for
off
our
all of
brains.
those electrons that normally aren't firing, because often we're not in flow, we were often in resistance because we think we're in control. So we're trying to go upstream to catch that salmon, when really if we just turn around and go downstream with the flow. Yeah, so I could see that all this firing takes place in the brain. That's really beautiful. So how long, Laurie, do you think that took for the drawings? Like how long till you
for
started
that
seeing?
feeling to emerge?
Yeah.
Oh, it took a little while, because I think at first it was just to get calm that my life was derailed. It was just to get my hands back. It was just to sort of even be aware of the present moment.
Wow. Wow,
I
you
was
were really stricken down. Whew.
I was, and being on output makes you think of the future or the past all the time. I was not in the present. I don't even know. Even with yoga, you know, I'd go to yoga class, great, off I go, do something else. I wasn't even really living in the present then. And I've talked about the fact that, you know, now that my son is in his early 20s, I wish I had figured this out sooner, because I think the memories that I would have banked when he was a child would be deeper, because I was always running on lists. What's next? What do I have to do? I can remember dipping Easter eggs with him and thinking, okay, what do I have to put in the oven for dinner, and what time is it, and when do I have to do that?
Yeah, which I
couldn't
think
be here.
a lot of moms and their dads listening to you, because I could certainly relate. Absolutely. It's
Oh.
always that list and the to-do thing and running.
And look, we have responsibilities when we're parents, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But I think if I'd given myself permission and trusted myself enough, it's a big one, that I could ride whatever's happening as a parent, that I would have been in the moment and not having to be hyper responsible and hyper vigilant all the time about what's coming, right?
Exactly.
I used to call myself exactly. So I used to call myself the in case girl. You know, have everything done in case, just in case.
Yeah, gotta be ready for plan B. You must have been a Girl Scout.
No, I wasn't actually. No, I wasn't.
You would have made a good one.
I wasn't. So how long did it take? I don't know, because you lose time when you do this kind of thing. You know, hours feel like minutes. I'm not sure. Not a horribly long time. A couple of months, maybe.
Okay.
You really have to, what happens is you have to reroute those pathways in the brain, right? You have to carve out new etchings of pathways. And so that takes a little bit of time, because the old pathways still try to fire and you have to override them. So it took a little while, but once it happened, I became different. And then I started to think, okay, first of all, my worth is not dependent on my output. So I'm worthy just for who I am. Wow, like it's a whole new life. It's a whole new world. It's amazing. And I thought, I have to share this. I have to share this with people. I have to. You know, if I can help one person find the magic. And I can remember, Sherry, when I was little, my dad and I used to spend time together on Sunday afternoons doing art. He taught me stained glass and copper enameling and not drawing. He drew, but he didn't teach me drawing, and bead making and jewelry making, and he always had a project for us to do together.
What a great dad, jeez.
Oh, it was awesome. But one of the messages he gave me was, he said, when times get hard, remember to play.
Which is the title of today's talk. And I love that. I love that quote. So in honor of your dad, yeah, it's a great message for everybody to really take to heart. And especially, you know, once again, now the life storm of COVID, you know, is the message is play more, dig out those crayons, dig out those, you know, just even doing a collage with a magazine and a glue stick, like just play. What great advice. So you've got some great programs that you've you've created. You've got your artwork, you've got courses. You want to talk a little bit about that, what you have coming up?
Sure. So one of the things I realized was I was being mindful and creative at the same time. So one day sitting here by the forest in my backyard is this magical place.
It is. Your place is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm just so grateful to be able to feel the energy of it. It hit me that it's creative mindfulness that I'm doing. And so I developed this way of showing women how to find their way out of life storms. That's various steps. And then I develop courses based on it. And I have a YouTube channel for little ones where I read them stories and do some art. And I did courses with children all summer live here before COVID turned again, doing it too. And it's always based on turning off the logical part of your brain, which is your left side.
Right.
It looks right in the camera, but this is in fact my left side. And flow lets the right side light up, which lets your unconscious find your truth. And so it's various steps of meditation that lets you do that, and then questioning, and then we do an art piece, and then we look back at the art piece based on the questions and try to bring the truth back into our lives, because art brings truth that we don't even realize when we're doing it, right?
I loved how you said that, the unconscious to bring up the truth.
But that, and we override it with our judgment, right?
Yeah, we get all squirrely in the left-hand side because it's all the analytical and we overthink. Yeah, exactly.
We overthink, we have the negative narratives, we have all of that. So play turns that off, flow turns that off. And so creative mindfulness, or what I call empowerment through mindfulness and creativity, that's the long version, allows us to do that. And so I have a creative capsule coming up starting next week. A creative capsule is like, you know, a little pill you take. It's small.
I love the names of things. I also picture it as like when you're going off to outer space and you're in a little time capsule.
Oh, I love that even more.
That's what I thought of, you know, and it's because then you lose the sense of time as we know it according to the clock, and we move more into the now space of time.
Oh, I love that even more. I'm going to use that instead.
Okay, it's yours. You can have it. But yeah,
so
I see
it's
myself
called
Magic School Bus. Remember that show, Magic School Bus?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, that's how I picture that. We're in this little capsule and we're going off on a ride with Laurie.
That's a great thing. Thank you. So it's called intention, because the beginning of how we really want to feel, because so many of us, I know, myself included, I'm human, are derailed by this COVID experience. And feelings that we really don't want to have are burping up, and we need to honor them. But then it's about recalibrating them. It's about pivoting. How do we really want to feel? Well, that starts with intention. And so I'm very metaphorical. It's the elementary teacher in me. And so I use tea as the metaphor. And I had a wonderful instructor for art while I was home, and she taught some wonderful things, and I got some great sort of sparks from her. So part of this is a spark that she planted in my brain. So we dump out the feelings we don't want to have. And so we make a teapot and dump out feelings. And then we make various little teacups and we infuse the feelings we want into little tea bags. And that's our double art piece, tipping out and infusing.
Nice.
So that's intention. And then there's a meditation and there's questions about what you want to get rid of in your life and what you really want to bring in. We do the art piece, and then there's always practical strategies at the end about how we can bring them into our lives. So the capsule is cool because I recorded it. So it's an online course. And so we'll have a webinar at the beginning that's live, sort of like what you and I are doing, about intention, and we'll plant seeds, and then they'll do the course themselves over a week. It's a video, it's a couple of hours, so they have lots of time. And then at the end of the week's time, we come back together and connect and find ways to bring it into our lives. And during the week, I'll put, right. Thank you.
Integrate.
And during the week, I'll connect with the people in the course and, give them inspiration, and they can ask questions, and I'll be present in a private group that I'll set up just for them.
Okay.
So
awesome.
That's happening, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. Good for you. That sounds really exciting. That kicks off next week?
Next Wednesday, October. Is it next Wednesday, October 21st? What's the date today? I don't even know.
Wednesday, October 21st is next Wednesday.
October 21st, right. And so there's an early bird special that ends Friday.
Okay.
And I'll put a link below this post. Once you post it, I'll put a link to it if you like, which will take them to my website to allow them to join the course. Okay. So I would be honored for anyone who would like to join. I
think, I did. Well, I was trying to include your link to your website, Om.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, in the write-up, Om Creative by Marielle.
That's right.
So it should still be there. Hopefully the hyperlink worked. But if not, we'll do some updates.
Okay, we can check. That's okay. Yes, it's Om Creative by Marielle is I say it's like Cher. It's my art name.
It's, that's your pseudo, your pseudonym.
Yeah. So Marielle, my middle name is Marie, and my first name is Laurie, of course, right? So it's like Marielle. Yeah. And I've also been told that my guardian angel's name is Marielle.
Well, there you go.
So it's part of the reason I chose that.
That's beautiful. Yeah, wow. Well, Laurie, thank you for sharing your story and your spirit and your art. And
thank you for asking me to come today.
Well, it's such a great story. And so, all of this hit you at 49. And so you celebrated 50 in the throes of Lyme. And then here you are, a few years later, 55, and you've completely reinvented yourself. You're on this new trajectory, taking everything you're leveraging everything that you've done, which is all of your teachings, but you're bringing it into the world in a whole new creative and mindful way. So look forward to lots more of what you're going to share, Laurie.
Thank you.
And I have been at one of your workshops last, I believe it was December, before COVID. And it was a really enriching experience. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So
winter solstice it was.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, that was great fun here at the house.
It was. So anybody listening, if you're looking to get inspired, join Laurie, and you won't be sorry. So thanks, Laurie. We'll be in touch.
Sherry.
We'll talk again
soon.
Thank
you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.